Hey, what's up all you beautiful people? Brian here for Work to Game, and today we're going to be talking about Tanking 101. This is a guide for beginners or to hopefully encourage you to check out tanking in the world of Final Fantasy XIV. I would say that tanking is one of the most simple aspects of the game. Yes, there are some concepts later on that can be challenging and you need to know fights and there's tank swapping, but at the beginning, there really isn't that. However, there is a challenge and there is a catch. The beginning of Final Fantasy XIV, and especially with tanking, is some of the most difficult that you'll experience. The reason is you don't have the tools, a lot of the tools or utilities to really hold the hate. So how do we fix that? How do we solve that problem? That's what this guide hopefully helps to address. I'm going to be talking about the 3 different types of tanks right now in Final Fantasy XIV, talking about their play styles, some cross-class skills. Anyway, we're going to get started with the tanking guide. Please let me know in the comments below if I missed anything or if you have any additional questions or if there's a way that I can help make you a better tank. You're going to get paid for it both in experience and in gil. They really want tanks in this game. So, without further ado, let's do this thing. Perhaps the first and best way to start is with the various jobs themselves. You're going to have 3 main tanking jobs: the Paladin, the Warrior, and the Dark Knight. Now, the Paladin and the Warrior both begin at level 1, while the Dark Knight actually starts at level 30. Paladin's base class is Gladiator, Warrior's is Marauder, and Dark Knight does not have a base class. The main differences between the 3 jobs are as follows. A Paladin is a damage mitigation monster. It's the ability to mitigate as much damage as possible by managing their cooldowns effectively. They also have healing abilities and the ability to cover allies, thus protecting them from oncoming damage. Warriors, they have a high HP pool, high DPS output, and high survivability. They do this by managing their various stances and cooldowns respectively. Dark Knights, they're basically an MP and evasion tank. They're able to close the gap quickly, and they have solid DPS capabilities. No matter what tank you choose to play in the world of Final Fantasy XIV, all 3 offer really good options. But there are various qualities that's going to make a good tank, and that's the goal of this guide. So here are some qualities that make a good tank in the world of Final Fantasy XIV, as well as some tips that are going to help you better learn the role. Qualities of a good tank. 1. Face enemies away from the party. The enemy should always be looking at you, and you can actually see this and have this indicated by the various circles around the enemy's feet. There's going to be a little arrow which is going to indicate the direction in which the enemy is facing in case you were not aware of that. Early parts of the game really won't have that much difficulty seeing which way the enemy is facing. However, early parts of the game are also the most difficult for tanks because you do not have the abilities that you'll have later on to help maintain hate. So another quality of a good tank is the ability to hold hate. We call this flash dancing, especially early parts of the game. Both Gladiator and Marauder should be able to take flash as their cross-class skill. This gives the Marauder, or eventually the Warrior, the ability to pull hate without draining their TP with overpower. For Paladin and for Warrior, I would recommend, especially early parts of the game, you flash for every enemy that you pull. Another quality of a good tank is you manage your cooldowns effectively. Incoming damage can easily be mitigated as long as you have the cooldowns to do so. This takes pressure off your healers and allows them to do DPS if they choose to do so. And lastly, another good quality of a tank is that they are the pacemaker of the party. You'll be the one that's pushing through the dungeons, setting the pace for everyone to follow. This can be easily done with just a little confidence. When you jump into a party for the first time, and if you're in a dungeon that you've never been in before, just let everybody know. The community is really welcoming and open to tanks. The reasons why you should tank are obvious. Quick queue times, extra XP and gil for just doing what you love. Now, I did point out that early parts of the game can be rather difficult for tanks because you don't have a lot of hate building mechanisms to generate that constant flow of hate. To mitigate this, I'm going to include in the description below a simple macro that will help mark targets that you want the kill order to go in. You don't need anything fancy, nothing more than just marking 2 targets, the first and the second, because you can always remark the targets as necessary. This communicates to your party, especially the DPS, what the kill order is going to be. This will help make sure that everybody's attacking the same target at the same time, thus ensuring that you're not going to lose hate as fast or at all. Another quick and easy tip that I would highly recommend for starting out, especially when being a tank for the first time, is check out the Hall of the Novice tanking exercises. This is basically going to cover in-game what I'm covering in this guide, but it will also reward you with a 30% XP buff ring when completing all the exercises. It's quick, it's fast, it's effective, and it gives you 30% EXP for anything under level 30. This is going to pay out for you anyway in the long run, so it's just going to be best for you to check it out. To unlock the training exercises, if you haven't already, just go to any of the guild halls in any of the main cities, and you'll easily find the Hall of the Novice entry NPC. But let us now return to the 3 different tanks that we started with in the opener. Let's talk about their cross-class skills. Paladin, aka Gladiator, has several skills that you're going to want to pick up regardless of whatever job you end up playing. Marauder does as well. But starting out, just as a base level, you should pick up Gladiator and Marauder to at least level 10. This is going to give you the necessary skills that's just going to work no matter what you want to do in the game. So let's go ahead and focus in on the Paladin's cross-class skills ranging in that level, starting with the ability Flash. For Paladins and for Marauders, Flash is going to be a great hate building utility. The MP cost scales with your level, and this is going to create a circle of aggro or hate around you. So any enemies that are caught in it are going to be immediately focused in on you. For both Paladin and Gladiator, this ability also adds a blind effect to nearby enemies. Now let's go ahead and talk about Convalescence. This is a skill that you're going to pick up around level 10 and has 120-second cast time. This is a great skill for especially when those moments of danger happen and you really want to help your healer out. It does this by increasing your HP recovery and healing magic by 20%, and this is a self buff. This works fantastic in any of those oh no moments. And really when you want to recover HP quickly and effectively. And it stacks with other abilities of the type. Lastly, I want to talk about Provoke for the Paladin. This is an ability that's going to immediately grab hate off of any target out there. Now this only grabs it up to 1 point greater than what is already there. So if the hate is at 100, this is going to get it at 101. This is perfect for getting at the top of any one enemy's hate list, or especially if you end up dying, being able to jump right back into the fight and get right back on top of the hate list. This ability is a must if you're going to play tanks later on in the game when various concepts like tank swapping come into play. However, it is not necessarily required at the early parts of the game, but you might as well go ahead and work on leveling it at some point. Now, while there are other skills that the Paladin does share with the other classes, I want to switch over now to the Warrior Marauder. The Warrior has 2 abilities that I want to highlight that are going to help you out on a Paladin or a Dark Knight, no matter who you play. The first ability is Foresight, and it's learned at level 2. This is going to increase your defenses by 20%, and it's got a 90-second cooldown. This is one of those damage mitigating cooldowns that you just want to have because it's just going to help you survive longer. The second ability, which is also on a 90-second cooldown, is Bloodbath. This converts 25% of your physical damage dealt into HP. It's key to point out that it's physical, so Dark Knights who have some magical damage aren't going to benefit from this right away. But any of your auto attacks and then any of your skills are going to be feeding you HP. This, Convalescence, Foresight, all of these abilities just make you a survive machine. The ability to take on and take big hits from any target that exists. You'll notice that Dark Knight doesn't have any cross-class skills, and that's just necessarily part of the job system. This should be changing with Stormblood as we're going to switch to a cross-roll system, but until we get more information, we won't know for sure. I'll be sure to do an update to this guide once we know more. So get out there and tank. You can do it. It's actually not that difficult. Later parts of the game, it becomes much easier. So earlier parts of the game, here are some just general tips that are going to make your life easy as can be. If you're new and you've never run that particular dungeon before, just let other players know that you're new. A simple hello, first time here, can do the trick. Don't be afraid to build hate. General rule starting out, just hit flash and overpower. Now, it's important that if you do take the time to make sure that you have flash on like a warrior, you can end up just using that until your MP is drained. Flashing for each potential enemy, maybe up to a max of 3 per pull, is going to help ensure that you keep the hate. Using the targeting macro that I mentioned earlier will also help generally keep your DPS focused. Sometimes it doesn't work though. Sometimes the DPS is going to be a bad DPS and they're going to just do what they want. That does happen from time to time, and just take note, don't let it fluster you. Other things that you can do is you can keep an eye out on your enemy list. Your enemy list is going to be a UI element, and I would recommend positioning it close to you as the player. This is going to always show you who has the hate. You should see red boxes next to every enemy name, which means they're focused in on you. Anything that's yellow, orange, or green means that they're focused in on somebody else, and it's highly advisable that you go and you find them. Clicking on the list or holding the LB button and pressing up and down will help you cycle through just your enemy list and allow you to focus in on that target that you might have lost. It's okay if you lose hate, it's going to happen, but the trick is getting it back and using your skills like Flash, Overpower, Provoke. Those skills are going to help you bring you right back onto the top of the list. And lastly, just take a deep breath and relax. You're going to have fun, it's going to actually be surprising, and I think you're going to find that you're pretty good at it. Just keep practicing to the Hall of the Novice, and don't be afraid to ask questions, especially below. If you guys have any questions about how to tank, or you have any tips for new tanks, please feel free to leave them below. It's important to note that this guide was meant for new tanks, people starting out. This is a 101 guide. There's a lot of other things we can talk about, and if you're interested in me making that type of guide, please let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you like this video, and share it with your friends. Tell everybody you know. We want to get more tanks in the game. It pays out really well, and it helps make the queues shorter for everybody. So, until next time, my name's Brian, this is Work to Game, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Hey, it's me. Thanks so much for watching this video. You should click here to subscribe, and here to maybe check out some more of our videos. So again, thanks for watching. We hope you like this video. We hope you subscribe and join our community. Let us know in the comments below what you think, and we'll see you next time.